Oh, I know what you would like. I got the chilled seafood tower while I was there. That's your jam. Like
What?
have you ever,
Well,
have you ever,
what was all on it?
Zach,
Shrimp, obviously.
pull up Morton's chilled
salmon.
seafood platter. It's I don't know. It's everything. It's I know
If they're wasting space with salmon where crab could be, I'm not.
There's no salmon. There's no way they're wasting space with salmon. I think it's
salmon
all
was when you eat cold. Like
if it's
Taylor,
not all
I had-
lobster and crab.
Yeah, but it's
Taylor, I had blue crab off of a nice block of dry ice. It was a solid display, almost like a shrimp cocktail, except with none of the shrimp and only crab. So
How was it?
it was great. You know, as a Maryland boy, I felt really at home, but this is one of those things where I'm like, you can't really get good blue crab over here. King crab,
Is blue
fine.
crab a Maryland thing?
Yeah, it's
like
small.
around there?
Ooh, look at that.
Oh, that
Little
looks fire.
oysters. Look,
Look at that.
There's some clams in
why
there.
are they erect?
No, that's not that. Look at the
Mussels.
Look at that meat on
Those are
top of
lobster
those
claws.
claws. No, those are crab claws.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
Yes, those are snow crab claws. And if you're an expert, you can crack those out way easier than that. I could do it because what's going to happen is you're going to grab that bottom prong area and you're going to break
fall.
and pull. And what's going to happen is going to try and suck most of that meat under there. No, these guys are fools. You don't do it that way. You break out the top claw first before you crack the main part of the shell, and that way when you crack the main part of the shell, it's just there sitting for you and you can pull it out wholesale. The fact that they would do this, embarrassing.
Well, Taylor,
Listen, what would you expect from a
just an
Morton's, from a
embarrassing
chain?
lack-
Taylor, I just want to point
from a
out
chain restaurant.
Taylor, I just want to point out what they've clearly done here is remove the claw meat as you would prescribe, then went back with the claw and cut it in half so it could be presented and put the whole piece of meat back into the claw.
No, you're misunderstanding.
How did they get the cut then?
So there is no. That's how they did it. But do you see how there's two crab prongs coming out of that to the bottom right there? So that one that he's on right now. Go to the other one, Zach. Yeah, right there. No, not the other one. The pincer. Because obviously only one of the claws is able to move. And the top one that moves is attached to a very thin, broad piece of cartilage. And so what you want to do is break that off initially, pull it down, and that way the cartilage pulls free, all the meat stays in that nice cylindrical container, and then you cut off the surrounding area. Because all they're doing here is making the individual break that down, pull it out, and all that's going to do is make that beautiful piece of meat tuck down a little bit as it's pulled.
How did you
And
learn?
so, yeah, everyone knows this.
You're born into this, all right? You spend a couple summers cracking blue crab for 4.5 hours a day drinking light beer, and I know how to open up a crab, gut it, take the lungs out, listen, this is
there's two of them.
Oh, but different types of crab, you know. Mine much more nuanced, much less meat.
I'm a master of all. I can do whatever you're talking about. I can do it faster.
Swiss Army crab.
I'm a crab. People have been calling me a crab genius.
Yeah, but I'm from Maryland.
No one's been saying that.
Do crab?
Hang on, I'm not to be trifled with.
I'm having a weird thought here. Like crabs breathe underwater, though. Like
yeah.
do they have gills and lungs? Because I've seen them exist above water. Is that just like a temporary thing, like fish? Like do they need to get right back in there?
It depends on the kind of crab, because some kinds of crab live on land for a good
What about
bit.
those little running crabs that kind of have a wiggle and one bigger claw?
I have no interest in those. They can't be.
Are they land or?
I'm doing the thing.
The crabs that you're eating are entirely aquatic crabs. Land crabs tend to be small, if I know.
You know, it would be a tight spider to eat. Have you seen, or not spider, crab? Have you seen those Japanese those Japanese
the ones that have
crabs?
like the 9 foot long, like they're awful.
They can get as wide as 16 feet. I've never tasted one, but I imagine the amount of meat.
I'm trying to do a line of spider crab. Not that. No,
not spider crab. Not a knife wielder.
Yeah, this is just like the ones that have.
That's a DPS crab.
Yeah.
What,
UPS.
A DPS crab. Yeah, that's
DPS.
I said it was a Mexican crab.
Oh, well, that's a good one. I like that. That's a Honduran crab. But yeah, I'm so glad that you're a crab
sad
man
a
as
lot.
well. Are you confident in your crab cracking speed
I-
abilities no matter where you go?
I promise. All right, so yes, I am. King crab,
love to eat
snow
with you, man.
crab, great. Like we could sit down and as long as you're pouring it out. There's a place in Koreatown here that I have to go. If you are ever here, I would love to take you. They come out with a garbage bag, and inside that garbage bag, because you're ordering by the pound of king crab, whatever, is a vat of butter and the spices that you have chosen. And so they pour out this fucking just disgusting gluttony bag of just meat and whatever. Honest to God, like as
Sounds
close
tremendous.
to it's so good, so unhealthy, but like as close to a spiritual experience as I've had. But yeah,
Do you,
I mean,
do you like lobster as much or
no,
or is it-
lobster is awful. One
Lobster
of the
doesn't compare to crab.
listen,
It's
lobster, shrimp. I also don't like, and here's the reason why: shrimp and lobster
I'm blown
are
away by
like
that one.
I know. Look, like flesh grapes. If you close your eyes and you eat a shelled shrimp or a bite of lobster, to me, texturally, it bothers me that it is the same crunch and juice amount as a grape, and that is my personal.
You don't shell
issue.
your shrimp.
No, I'm saying if you do, no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It bothers me. They're like fleshy grapes. I don't like them. Lobster doesn't have flavor outside of butter.
How about a little cooked shrimp? You good with cooked shrimp?
If we fry it, like deep fry it, then yeah, I'm not like I'll eat it. But shrimp is a low tier food.
But a grilled shrimp, you wouldn't enjoy that. Like a nice grilled shrimp or a nice sautéed
I'll
shrimp.
eat it.
It's not your jam.
I will eat it. But I will suck the juice out of a crab. But I won't give the shrimp the time
I'm
of day.
so on board with the crab supremacy that you're playing down because crab.
I
is
just
the
don't.
best seafood.
I think lobster is really overrated. I truly don't think that lobster carries enough with
1
it without
billion
itself.
%.
Yeah.
I think lobster
I
is
think
so
it's-
overrated.
Lobster is a little less work for the meat, right? You can get the lobster.
No,
tail,
that for
example,
sure,
is
yeah.
gigantic. The lobster claws are gigantic, and while I'll admit the crab tastes better, if you're just using it as a butter shovel, lobster is a bigger butter shovel.
I don't know.
But
I don't know for sure, but I don't know if you've ever had a fancy
But you-
lobster. Like I don't know if you've ever had a fancy.
are you calling me
lobster.
poor?
No,
Sounds like what you're
if you'll
saying. I don't know
let-
if you ever had a
if you'll let
fancy
me-
lobster.
I don't
This is my
mean-
poor friend
No,
Tucker.
no. If you'll allow me to elaborate, I'm not talking about a lobster from a fancy place. I'm talking about a unique, special kind of lobster, like maybe a blue one or one of those like albino lobsters, or like a lobster that they made eat like
Do they taste
delicious-
better because they're
they-
blue?
or maybe a lobster that they only fed delicious shrimps that were only fed honey fed
I
shrimp.
ate a fancy lobster once, and it was
Yeah.
terrible. How much does a lobster weigh?
8
It
pounds
depends
with
on the
big
size.
It depends on the lobster.
This
But
thing
the
was
bigger
like-
the lobster, the worse the taste.
Yes, that's where I was headed. So
It's like blueberries.
I went to New
Yeah.
York City, and they had a giant lobster, and my friend was like bawling, so he's like, "I'll take that one." It was like a 15-pound lobster, a lobster that you don't see commonly, a
Yeah.
rare.
That guy
big
has been
boy.
eating shit for 48 years. That lobster is
That guy's-
not good.
That guy's been eating other lobsters.
Yeah.
It was dry and it was yucky, and
Oh,
it was
no.
the worst lobster ever.
Yeah.
I haven't. I don't do lobster a lot because I'm kind of agree with you guys. It's not that great. I just rather have a steak.
I
Your
would
crab-
rather. There is a
yeah.
difference between the steak tiers are so well defined and so incredibly different between getting a good steak, a bad steak, a good steak, like Omaha steak, an American Wagyu, and then an A5 Wagyu. You could blind taste test layer these perfectly every time. But with like seafood, it gets way more hairy, I think. And with lobster and crustaceans too, I don't even think it's a quality of like how good is the lobster, how good is the crab. I'm just like, is it crab? Like for me, it's a social thing. Like you're not going there necessarily to just eat the meat. You're like, it's the process of breaking it apart.
Oh,
and
it's a
eating
dinner.
it.
Yeah.
It's a dinner.
Yeah,
and
it's a
an
dinner
activity.
event.
It's dinner and an event. I most recently when I ate crab, I ordered a huge amount of it, and I was the entertainment for everyone else who was
Because
sitting
nobody
around
else
that bar.
ate it. No.
Because no, I well, they only offered literally. I go to this place and they say they have snow crab, and how do they offer it? 3 clusters at a time, or you could buy 1, 2, or 3 clusters, and so I asked for 6. Like, just give me like 6 clusters. I can get a nice little snack in here before I go do my real eating somewhere else. And I felt like I was that guy in like X-Men First Class, where like everyone else at the bar kind of stopped watching sports and was watching me eat this food. And I can't exaggerate it. You have to be with me in person. I eat crab at a rate that is incomprehensible to an average person.
You got it down to a crack, pull, suck, gone. And everybody's watching this fine oiled machine.
I would have to go years back to find the last time that I broke the big leg on a crab and couldn't immediately pull out the meaty part. I'd have to go years back.
You know what you should
because
do?
I'm an expert. I'm an absolute expert in this way. And if anyone wants to get with me and pay for my meal and eat alongside me, you're welcome to.
You're welcome to pay.
I'm going to a nice seafood restaurant with a bunch of snow crab in St. Louis area. DM me and say, Taylor, come along. I'm going to pay for this. I'll put you in the poorhouse, motherfucker. I'll eat until there's no more crab to be.
Taylor with the bold thing. Pay me to eat until you're broke, and I will do it.
Pay me to eat until you're broke. Just watch me. I'll be like a sideshow.
There is an art.
Guy.
There is an art. Eating crustacean is a lot like the fighting game community. You can tell between somebody who just simply has eaten crustacean and somebody who eats crustacean.
So fucking true.
Taylor, have you ever cooked your own?
Yeah, I have not, but my wife has for me. Okay. She's made crab at my house before, where she pours like that huge amount of Old Bay and like the Cajun seasoning and everything in the giant pot, and then she makes it.
Yeah,
so that's
I ordered,
tremendous.
Like not long before I went to prison, I ordered. I think they were king crab legs because they were like as long as my arm.
Yeah, but, king crab. King crab, not quite as sweet a meat as the snow crab.
It's so much bigger though. Again, it's like you're eating like it is way bigger, but it is bigger, but you have to be willing to qualify the quality. You know, like a snow crab leg tastes way better than a king crab leg. There's a sweetness there that isn't there with the king crab. Now, if you're talking about total amount of meat, of course, king crab is the way to go. But Zach's like, we had the crab discussion last talk, guys. And I'm like, first of all, I know. Second of all, better than hockey. I had to get. This is the best I could do.
You know what's so funny is I'm like passionate about this. Like I'm like no. Another thing about crab.
Would you do a live stream where you ate crab?
I would want to see that live stream.
Like maybe they pay for the crab and you eat it no matter what.
That would be fun. They're gonna buy an amount of crab from me that's uneatable though, and also like
you said
I would be embarrassed to do that in front of people.
You put a bib on.
Like my crab eating proficiency.
Down,
I would love to show it off in front of you two. You guys are my friends. If we went to a seafood restaurant, I would order 5 or 6 entrees, and then just for the show, you guys could watch me eat it all. Online though, I would be so insecure about how much crab juice is a big thing people aren't considering. The amount of spray, the amount of, it's not a single person sport. Like a lot happens in that arena. And so I would be worried about ruining my keyboard, ruining things like that, trying to eat. Because if I were to do it, I would not do half measures. I would do whole measures. I would eat, like I'd probably buy like 5 or 6 pounds of crab and then I would just eat it. Like I would pick something that I'm very comfortable with. Like I know I can eat 5-6 pounds of crab, no problem.
No, you need
Taylor.
We're topping out at 10 pounds of crab. And
okay, that's like an extended evening for me.
Yeah, I mean it'll be a long stream. I'm thinking 3-4 hours.
Yeah. Oh, for me to eat all of it? No, that's a 90-minute stream, man.
Well, we gotta wait for the donos to come in
wait for the donos to come in. Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah.
I've wanted to do a crab picking for a while, like a stream, because it is like a 4-hour, extravaganza.
Dude, I'll fucking fly out.
Yeah,
to your
fly
house
out here and I'll pay you a chunky. It's not going to be an eating contest. It's simply going to be you watch us eat until we both physically feel ill. It's just at our own rate.
It's just Tucker being like, "No, we're not paying for anything, but there's crab here," and I'm like, "I'm on the plane. I'm ready. I'm ready for the game."
Sponsored by Old Bay.
Yes. Oh, well, you need Old
Well-
Bay. if
well,
you're gonna have
okay.
quality crab.